What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Alpha Cave. Today I want to clear up some stuff. Today's video is for the people who keep asking me, isn't it safer to keep my money in a savings account instead of investing my money where I have a risk of losing it? A lot of people have this misconception about investing. Of course, it is risky. But I think I'm going to show you today, I'm going to prove to you today how it's even riskier and it's costing you more to keep your money in a savings account rather than investing it in a general index fund or ETF. So hopefully once and for all, people will quit asking me this question about it being riskier to invest your money rather than putting your money in a savings account. Shout out to my sister Christella. So what I plan to accomplish today is show you how it's riskier to leave your money in a savings and you'll end up losing more money eventually over the years keeping it in a savings rather than investing it into an index fund. But before we get started on that, you need to know what inflation is, the reason your money is actually losing value inside your savings account. The inflation rate is the rate at which goods and services increase in price while your dollar actually drops in value. Basically, you lose purchasing power with the same amount of money. A good example to show this is in gas prices. The average price for a gallon of gas in 1950 was 18 cents. Only 9 years later, in 1959, the average price for a gallon of gas was 25 cents. Now in 2020, you can expect to pay $2.60 on average for a gallon of gas. That shows you how the price for the same thing has gone up over time and continues to go up over time. So your 25 cents can no longer buy you 1 gallon. So if you had a quarter in 1959 that could buy you a gallon of gas, today in 2020, that quarter can no longer buy you the same thing. And that's what inflation is. Here's another good example using the price of a cup of coffee over the years. For you all that are visual learners, here's a little picture to go with it. As you can see by the picture, the price of a cup of coffee has actually gone up over time as well. Back in 1979, 25 cents could buy you a cup of coffee. The same cup of coffee in 2019 will cost you $1.59. That shows the inflation rate. Inflation erodes the purchasing power of your money. The inflation rate has steadily been around 2% per year over the last 10 years. So that means you lose 2% of your money per year just for having it sitting in a savings account, if that savings account didn't pay you interest. So let me give you some examples. Let's say you come across $100,000 for some reason or another. Wouldn't we all love that? And you decide to put that $100,000 into a low interest savings account like IBC Bank. Shout out to my sister. An IBC Bank savings account will pay you 0.25% interest on your money. So if you take a 2% inflation rate into consideration, an investment of $100,000 into a 0.25% savings account will give your money a value of $84,111 over 10 years. Assuming that you don't make any contributions. That's $15,886 less of purchasing power that you have over those 10 years on your money. And that's because the inflation rate is actually greater than the interest they're paying you on your savings account. So you end up losing purchasing power. So even though the $100,000 will become $102,528, the purchasing power of that will actually be $84,111 of today's money. So over those 10 years, you do lose a lot of purchasing power by having your money locked in that low interest savings account. Now let's say instead of putting that $100,000 into the low interest IBC savings account that pays you 0.25%, let's say you put that in Robinhood savings account that pays you 1.8% interest on your money. That's still lower than the 2% inflation rate. So taking the 2% inflation rate into consideration, a $100,000 investment into the 1.8% interest savings account will give your money a value of $98,228 after 10 years. That's still less than the $100,000 that you have today. So over those 10 years, you will lose $1,799 of purchasing power on your money. Not taking into consideration the 2% inflation rate, you will have $119,705 in your account with a purchasing power of $98,200. So $100,000 investment due to inflation with a 1.8% interest savings account will be worth $98,200 rather than your $100,000 that you have today. Now for the last example, let's say you invested that $100,000 into the S&P 500 10 years ago. Over those 10 years, the average rate of return on the S&P 500 has been 11.805%. So if you take the 2% inflation rate into consideration, an investment of $100,000 into the S&P 500 with an 11.805 rate of return on your money over 10 years will give your money a value of $250,386. That's a total of $150,386 of purchasing power extra you get on your money. The actual amount of money you'll have in your account will be $305,219 with a purchasing power of $250,386. So looking at all three, it's definitely better to invest your money into the stock market. Now, I'm not saying invest in individual stocks which are more risky. I'm saying invest in general in the ETFs and the S&P 500, which will give you a rate of return which is usually positive. Now, if you look at the last 20 years in the S&P 500, the average rate of return over those 20 years has been 5.59%, which is a great deal bigger than the 0.25% offered by IBC Bank or by the 1.8% offered by Robinhood. Even though it's smaller than the 11.805 it's been over the last 10 years, even looking at the last 20 years, the average rate of return is still way bigger and will give you more money than those two savings accounts. Yes, there will be some years where the S&P 500 gives you a loss on your money, but over the long period of time, most of the time, your money's going to increase in value. So people who are afraid of taking risks, if you actually look at what's really risky, it's leaving your money in a savings account. The only money that you should have locked in a savings account is money that you are going to need for an emergency or that you're going to use on a down payment for a house or something like that. Other than that, there should not be any money locked in your savings account losing value. Especially if you're younger, you could handle these short-term losses on your money. You don't need your money till later on in life. So if you're younger and you're looking to build wealth, it's better to invest your money rather than save and save and save in a savings account that's not going to give you any interest on your money. This goes to show you proof, and there's calculators online where you can do your own math of why it's better to invest your money than lock it up in a savings account. So let's say you're not someone who's younger and you're someone who's older and you have a big amount of cash and you're asking yourself if you should invest or you should put it in a safe savings account. That all depends on what you want to do with your money in the future. Can you afford to take short-term losses, or can you not afford to take those losses? What do you plan to do with your money? Do you want to spend it all on a large vacation? Do you want to buy a new home sometime in the future? Do you want to buy a new car sometime in the future? What do you want to do with your money? What if you don't have any plans and your only plan is to be able to leave something for your children in the future? In that case, then it definitely is a smarter decision to invest your money into the S&P 500 or any similar account like that. If you leave all your money in a low interest savings account and your plan is to leave it for the future, it's going to be losing value. No matter what you plan to do with it in the future, if you leave it in a low interest savings account, it's going to be losing value. So my suggestion to you would be decide what you want to do with your money. Decide how you're going to spend your money. Are you going to do something with it now, or can you invest it? Do you plan to do something with it in the near future or in the farther future? You know, if you want to spend maybe on your kids' education, if you want to spend on something for your kids later on in their life, if you want to be able to buy them a car when they graduate and you have young kids, you know, it's better to invest that money now and take it out later on when you need it, rather than keep it in a savings and lose value on that money. So those are some things you just got to figure out for yourself. How do you plan on spending your money? What you want to do? Do you want it in the future? Do you want it now? Those are things that you got to reflect. Talk to whoever, you know, talk to your spouse, talk to your loved ones. See what you want to do with that money and then decide the route to take from there. If it's something in the long term, then definitely the best thing for you to do is invest your money. If it's something in the short term and you can't handle any losses, then don't invest your money. Keep it in that safe savings account where you know it's a predictable 0.25%. If you don't plan to keep it there in the long term, then you're not going to be losing much to inflation because you're going to end up spending the money anyway. So if you plan to use your money in the short term, don't invest it. You can't take a loss, don't invest it. Keep it where you know what you're getting in return, and you're not going to be affected by inflation too much since you don't plan on keeping it in the savings account for too long anyway. Either way, think about it and make a smart decision, guys. I hope this cleared it up for you all, and I hope I don't get this question anymore. Watch this video, share it with your friends, like it, and don't keep your money locked in a savings account, guys. Again, if you're interested in making an investment account with Robinhood, use the link down below and it'll start you off with a free stock. You don't have to invest your money. There is that 1.8 interest savings account, but I do suggest you looking into ETFs and investing your money in Robinhood. So use that link down below, click the link, make your account, get your free stock. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. See y'all later.